Okay. So a year after you really, make it or break it, kind of, put yourself in that type of situation.
Yes.
You signed a deal with Def Jam.
Yep.
And how did you get that deal with Def Jam?
Oh, it's crazy you say that. So there was a lot of different people from all major and higher up imprint indie labels looking to sign us. I remember, I think me and Chris, we had been working together for like 3 months, and we had a deal for almost $2 million on the table from like an independent company, and it was like,
really,
yeah. And we were still in the basement. You know what I mean? And I was like, holy shit, $2
million.
Yeah, and he said, I remember him joking. He was like, how much do you think what we're building is worth? And I said, I don't know. What do you mean? It was me and him and a couple of other members of the Rat Pack, the team. He said, how much do you guys think this everything we're doing is worth? I don't know. He said, well, somebody thinks it's worth about $2 million. And he pulled out this contract and surprised us. And he was like, and me and Chris are the same age. So it's like we're the same, just young guys trying to do what we're doing. And he said, it was always, you never do it for the money. You never do it for the money. The money will come. The money will always be there. As long as you're fucking smart, you're not an idiot, you're realistic, the money will always be there. So we turned that down. You know what I mean? It was like, no, we want something bigger, we want something better. And, all Universal came to us, Def Jam came to us, Republic, this, all these different, and it was because we put out music. We never went to anybody. We never knocked on anybody's doors. We never went to no, because you can't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they all came to you.
Of course. It's just like,
this is because the music was going viral on the internet?
Yeah, of course, yes. But that's due to Chris's genius, So it's just him marketing on an independent level and, making connections, but not having to sell. Like when something is so good, it's you don't really got to sell somebody about it. You know what I mean? It's not like when I make a proposal to any people that I want to work with, I don't go, well, listen, this is why you should do this and this and that. No, it's like, yo, my fan base is fucking crazy, and it makes sense for us to work together because I use your product regularly already, and I just don't put it on camera because I'm fucking smart. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, if you make me happy, I'm gonna make you happy. Trust me. So that's just how you go into it. But anyway, so no, we didn't knock on anybody's doors, and we had them come because it's all about power. So if I don't know, a year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we came to Vlad and was like, hey, you should do an interview with us because, like, trust me, we're gonna be something. You'd be like, get the fuck out of here. You have the power. You go, I'm straight, Yeah,
I mean, people hit me every day and say, I need an interview. And I click on their Twitter page and it's 120 followers. And I'm like,
what can you do for me? It's true.
It's really like, I'm gonna put this interview out and I'm gonna lose money on it.
Yeah, there you go.
Every interview costs me money and time. And if I can't recoup that, then I'm just not going to do it.
But it makes sense. It makes sense. But now, you know what I'm saying? For someone of your stature or whatever, if you hit me up, it's all about power. I mean, why would I say no? But I'm saying when somebody contacts you, you have the option to say yes or no. So we had that mentality when going into the deal or anything that we do, any endeavor that we do. So we never went to them because if you go, hey, so and so, you want to sign us? Look what we're doing. But can he do a radio record? Can he do all this bullshit that you don't want to hear? But if you just make so much noise, they come to you and automatically think, oh yeah, radio record, who cares? Like, but you know how these motherfuckers are. So the only reason that I went with Def Jam is solely 100% for No I.D. That's it.
Okay.
It's the only reason.
How involved musically was No I.D. in your project?
Well, it's weird. I think that's another perception thing because I handled all elements myself. I was the person who overshadowed everything. Like every snare, every this, every that. I was there with my engineer. I mixed it. I went to so and so for beats, this, that. So what I got from I'm not gonna say I was naive. I would say that I was very anxious and happy. So when I first signed, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, me and No I.D. it's just gonna be a whole album with just No I.D. beats, and I'm gonna have some like Kanye sounding type shit and this and that. But that's just that mentality, Yeah. It's like, oh man. But then you grow and you realize it's not about a No I.D. cosign. It's not about No I.D. beats. It's not about any of that shit. It's about my vision. And he helped me discover that. So it's like, it's not, like that's great. But I can look back on this album and be like, yo, I fucking made that album. And these crazy ass conversations that I had with No I.D. helped build that. So it's like, Yeah, he's an executive producer. You know, because we like did it where you have the visionary executive producers and the independent and the major,
Right.
and what he gave me was just wisdom. You know, not just use this drum break, but how to make the drum break your own, or how to add this to it or that, or flip this over here, and then even much more so even about concepts. You know, like I remember I sat in his house one time, and he was like, "Yo, man, you should make a song about, like driving in the car," and I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, like just driving the car. I'm like, oh. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty crazy because it's so simplistic. So I could be like driving around the whole city and talk about it. And he's like, no. Just drive down one block. And so sometimes less is more. So that opened up, like I never did the song, but the point is I took that and I ended up doing so much more because, okay, you take away the city, you take away a road trip across the United States. I got one block. I mean, something that could literally take me 10 seconds to get down. So what do I talk about? I talk about what's in the car, what the color of the interior of the car, the fine ass woman who's walking over here with the fat ass, but then I look over here and I see a single mother a stroller, and I'm like, oh, maybe she'll turn into this or this. And like, there's so many different concepts that you can do going down that one block. And it's conversations like that with that man that changed the album.
Now, who did most of the production?
Me and Six.
Okay.
Six is my in-house producer.
Okay.
He's like my 40.
So, and we, for example, me and Premier talked about this today.
Oh yeah, the super album, Illmatic.
Exactly.
Yes.
You already see where
I'm hip. Yeah.
And this is exactly what me and Primo were talking about. How up until Illmatic, you had a rapper and you had his DJ / producer.
Yeah.
Whether it was
RZA.
RZA and Wu-Tang. Well, wait, did that happen?
There was a lot of RZA. It was after, but it was after. It was post.
Yeah. But before Illmatic, it was like, Rakim and Eric B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or it was
Jazzy Jeff
and Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Or it was KRS-One and Scott LaRock.
Yeah,
And and it goes on and on. It's Special Ed, and I forgot who his producer was. But I mean, it's always that thing. And then once Illmatic dropped, you suddenly had the hottest producers that you could find from your region, from New York, all coming together. They made a classic ass album, And after that, I felt that people looked at hip hop a little bit differently. And now it's rare that some new hot rapper doesn't have a bunch of beats from like DJ Mustard. Like, what I mean? Like you need
like
Mustard on the beat.
Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. That doesn't happen anymore.
Exactly. It's an anomaly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
Prime, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's interesting because, for example, I remember I interviewed Jin. You know who Jin is?
Yeah.
The battle rapper, the Asian, the Chinese kid. Yeah. And he was signed to Rough Riders.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
He had a song with Wyclef at the time that Wyclef was near his height.
Yep.
And then he had a song with Kanye. And, he admitted to me, on camera both times, he just said, I just didn't really take advantage of these situations. I just let them tell me what to do. And I felt so starstruck to even be in the same room with them that I just didn't put enough of me into these records. And when they came out, they didn't really have a great reception. You know what I'm saying? I
get it. I've been in the room with some fucking super powerful people. But the difference is you just gotta tell somebody. Like, and it's difficult, Like if me and No I.D have it's not even a disagreement, it's not anything like that. But if he's like, yo, I really like these drums, I'm like, in general, he could be like, yo, that break from that one song? We just be talking about something. And I'll be like, you like that? Like, really? That the man respects more than, yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. Totally. Now, can I get that beat? Like, no, fuck that shit. And and because I sit back and I'm like, yo, if I meet some like young rapper or somebody who's like a fan of mine or something, and I'm talking about, you can tell when somebody's just fucking jerking you off, and they're just like, yeah, whatever you say, yeah, totally, yeah. What's your number, man? Like that, fuck that shit. Like that's not what I'm looking for, Like even in this interview, like I've done a lot of interviews. This is a dope interview. We're talking about real shit. We're being honest. I'm just talking. It's not like, like it's just. This is dope. You want somebody who's gonna be honest with you, who's gonna be real with you. Mm-hmm. But I know what it's like. Like for Jin being in that situation, I've been in that situation. There's once or twice where I didn't say anything and I regretted it, and then I go back and I'm like, yo, I really don't like. And not talking about any producer in specific, but saying I got to change this. I'm not happy with this because I can't have this on my album or my mixtape or my whatever I do for the rest of my life. Once it's out and it's never going to be. So it's like, I have to be honest with you because if I'm not happy, I'll never be happy. But you also need a producer that, or who, whatever the fuck you're working, writer, anything, that's going to go, okay, well, this is why I think you're wrong, but I understand. Let's work. That's a collaboration. That's what that is. And you work together for a bigger cause that's bigger than you both.